Video 123. October 16, 2014. As you friends have already been informed, we've been on Pluto for 19 days of your implementing changes in scientific complex that we keep there. This outpost analyzes samples of minerals in billions of asteroids exist in the region that you friends called Oort cloud. Much history of geological events of your galaxy is discovered in those fragments. It is a very interesting scientific activity. On our route to Pluto, we made a small detour approximate in your September 20th and we landed on the asteroid you call 67P. For scientific recognition since caught our attention the scientific interest of your government just this celestial body. There is already some research activity and mining in this asteroid. But they have identified your probe coming and they are monitoring your activity in real time. Staff very nice but they do not want to be identified and I will respect that. And they do not intend to interfere with your small scientific mission. Since your military does not plan any experimental detonation, which will be immediately neutralized. Friends, this Ebola epidemic advertised is totally false. They are creating the scene to be able to vaccinate populations unconditionally and then yes, inject elements directly on the bodies and contaminate the water, facts that lead to organ failure regardless of the normal organic strength. Hordes of people sick will then be taken to the quarantine premises and prepared to be properly disposed of after death. The truth is ugly, but the moral of your elites is much uglier than you imagined in your worst nightmares. Both the official media as informal sensationalist media are helping to create this theater so that the plan can be implemented quickly. Do not be fooled by this theater. You as more prepared than most have a duty to be aware of these real facts and try to inform others in your communities. In case of suspicion of contamination in your area, begin to boil water to drink, take 1 level teaspoon of baking soda daily and consume fruits with vitamin C and natural fructose metabolized antibiotics contained in honey. These simple steps will make you resistant against these biological attacks, and pernicious nano-elements. For those who are vegetarians, this is a commendable option but not totally dismissing the proteins of animal origin. That as well as weakening glands will remove many different capacities for reaction of your body. In this current configuration of DNA of your physical constitution, the main function of the element that you call vitamin D in the organism is the absorption of calcium and phosphorus by the body, which is crucial to the healthy development of bones and tissues. It is a vitamin that acts on the immune system, protecting organs such as the heart and brain. It is metabolized by the body when exposed to sunlight, but you must eat foods like seafood, egg yolk, milk, cheese and yogurts, so that the body can transform the elements of these foods in vitamin D. You will not metabolize vitamin D feeding only vegetables because they do not contain the necessary elements to allow this absorption. Mythi, if the fourth cannot communicate with the third and vice versa, and you are in the third but at a higher level than us, how do you know so much about the fourth? How did information leak out from the fourth for you to know and understand this? The jump from your level and the fourth is just as great as ours to yours. The more you friends achieve development, the greater your capacity for contemplation and understanding. From this next level 1 and 2, with the possibility of consulting to large knowledge bases that will be available, you friends will have a broader vision of the truths that govern our universe harmoniously. Thy quantum energies or your spirits have already had contact with this first layer of the fourth dimension, which is where you originated. Bear in mind that the subject of the third dimension is only a vehicle for the development of your quantum energy, which is the real you. The information do not leak. They simply have to be understood and will flow from the inside out in your minds, because they are already there. Just cannot be accessed in this your moment of development. How do I know? Everything you have ever passed stays in your memory, not like you friends say déjà vu but as real experiences. And we have gone through these steps several times until we reach level 5. Mythi, you mentioned that the Ateneans remnant race have acted as advisors to elite members of society at least since the time of ancient Egypt. How involved are these individuals in the practices of human sacrifice, child sexual abuse, exploitation of the masses, etc., allegedly carried out by bankers, rulers, and other leaders? Do they condone these practices? Do they participate in them? This group Ateneans descendants was a group that did not really work. They are not involved with these practices but are dependent on maintenance received by your elites. This practice of your elites are directly linked to the feeling of impunity arising from the power that they hold over other living beings on the planet. Adrenaline arising from this sense of power is greatest when they can try to act like gods, taking lives as his obsessive desires. The only respect they can get is by fear and dependence, because they do not have any other requirement to be respected. All that counts for them is the possession and control, even over life and death. These Ateneans remaining ones are bastards, simple consultants, live of their technical intellect. That keeps them with high IQ to simply survive in comfort. Mythi on human named Billy Meyer, who have had contacts with Pleiadians. These facts really happened. He talks about time travel, things that you said are not possible, and in no time he mentions Community Galactica. See, as I mentioned before on this contact, he actually had some contacts with behavioral scientists Pleiadians. But at the time he failed to properly assimilate much information he received. When subjected to holographic visions of past facts, he did not understand that it was holographic environments to be a technology far beyond his time. Actually, he never left the planet, all the experience he had were simulations. Right here in order to study the reactions by Pleiadians. Regarding the Community Galactica, Pleiadians are not talking much about chains of command. As it were totally extra-official contacts, they have not entered into any organizational detail with that person specifically. The stories and the imagination of that person completed the information the way he imagined or wanted others to imagine. Mythi, any comments on the OTC-X1? Apparently it's a unit that could be operated by the mind. About the units you call OTC-X1 operated by the mind, these systems creating magnetic fields of variable geometry are basic to achieve magnetic results with any metal, even with the non-magnetic. When you create a neutral state for that set, making it no relative weight, a magnetic field created with mind is enough to interact with him. You have not yet developed the ability to direct the mind with the creation of these fields. For this reason is somewhat dangerous to interact without risking your own physical integrity. With quantum-level scheduling of atoms, the movement can be programmed into the material without the outer layer. is being forced to rotate mechanically, meaning that you can touch the piece without noticing that the material inside is rotating at high rotations. Materials with zero resistance can do this with no heating and more effectively than material that gains heat with the movement of atoms. Things are still happening gradually with respect to changes in the planet. But be attentive to radical climate changes that may come, anticipating events. Your atmosphere and the geomagnetic field are excellent indicators of imbalances caused by cosmic and solar radiation. Then the planet respond with movements of the crust in the sequel. We'll be here all the time, have no fears. Always be alert only to climate change and movement of your rulers. Be well each of you, my friends.